Hey there, welcome back, good to see you again. Now if you're looking for a camera that you can just pick up and wander around with, shoot a bit of face to camera like this sort of thing, not worry too much about having to have extra audio gear, it's got good zoom and it's got a pretty good image and a fantastic price, I think I found what you're looking for. Stick around and I'll show you what I've got. Hey guys, good to see you again. Going to have a look at a neat little toy today. The camera I've got here is the Sony CX-405. Now this is just a little handy cam, as you can see from the box. There's not a hell of a lot to it, to be honest. It just shoots HD, it doesn't do 4K. It shoots in XAVC-S and AVC HD, so you can choose between those, or it'll actually shoot dual as well. It shoots just to a micro SD card, and well, I'm just going to open up the box and have a look inside. It'll also shoot to memory stick, so if you've got those sitting around still, they might be useful. In the box, as you can probably guess, there's paperwork. We don't need that. We'll open it up. It's got a little USB dongly thing in, like everything else does now. It's all USB powered. And it just comes in this neat little thing. I will drop the box down there. It takes the standard BX type battery, these little fellas, the same as the ones I've got in the RX100, and this is it. That's all there is to it. Okay, so some tech stuff about this. It only shoots in HD, and it takes 9.2 megapixel photos. I think the photos are just screen grabs out of the video, but I'm not sure. Have to look some more into that one. It's got a little toggle on the front here for the zoom. It's a 60 times optical clear image zoom thing, they call it. 60 times, that's a hell of a lot. We'll have a look and see how that goes. The lens is Zeiss glass, and it's an f1.8 aperture, so that's pretty good. It's going to get some fairly good stuff in sort of slightly dodgy light. It's not going to be great in low light like I've got in here, of course. In fact, I'll just turn that on. And here you go, so you can see what it looks like with the low light in the studio. It's got a number of little ports on it. Just in here there's a micro USB port, and you can use that for plugging a micro USB cable into and doing all of the things that that does. Inside here we've got the little hatch where you can put your memory card and or memory stick, and a little port for an micro HDMI cable, so you can just play this straight out to a TV or anything. The sensor in here is a Sony XMR, so it's a pretty good sensor. The screen is just a little screen. It's fairly low resolution. You access it with this little toggle joystick thing on here, as you do with this sort of thing. As you can see, it's got a really basic menuing system. It flips around the other way when you flip the phone around the other way, so that's really good as well. It's pretty clear screen in daylight as well. I didn't have any problems seeing it when I was wandering around outside. The battery that this thing takes is the standard Sony BX battery, so that just slots straight in the bottom there. Real quick to change those in and out. Just open that, pull the battery, swap new one in, put it in. They don't last a hell of a long time, though I didn't even go through a whole battery doing this video. The microphones on the front, I don't know what's in them. They're just two microphones down here. They were pretty good, actually. You'll hear the sound in a minute. The wind noise on them, there was some, but it wasn't humongous, and I think that's an advantage on having them at the front here, whether you're pointing them towards you, rather than having a little hole on the top or something which the wind rushes across and actually generates a whistling noise and that sort of thing. That kind of thing I'm not so keen on. What else has this got on here? Let me have a look. Oh yeah, the little lens cover at the front which opens and closes. It's neat, and it's great when you can't lose the lens cover. But one of the more interesting things on this is this little cable which hangs off the side here. It just goes into this little pouch right here in the hand grip, so you've always got that cable there. You can use that little cable to either plug into your USB slot or a USB hub or something to get data off, or you can plug it into a battery and you can run this off an external battery as well if you need to go for longer, or a USB extension lead, and then you can just run this indefinitely if you need to capture something for a longer period of time. It weighs nothing. I did actually put it on my kitchen scales, and it wasn't even enough to register on them. I might just need better kitchen scales, but it gives you a good indicator of how light this thing really is. Anyway, let's have a look at some footage. Okay, so that's all the technical stuff about this camera out of the way. Now I'm going to show you what the camera can actually do. So as you can see, I'm in pretty good light here. It's a nice sunny day in Wainuiomata, and I'm just wandering through a park here. It's a great time to be doing this sort of thing, I think, as well, because all the wildflowers and everything have come out. So I'm just going to go get a few shots and yeah, have a look. Okay, so that's a good range of shots we've just taken in a whole heap of different lighting conditions. Some were under shade, some was out in bright, harsh sunlight. It's gone overcast, it was clear before, been high contrasty, low contrasty situations, and I even used the, 60 times zoom that's on this thing, which is kind of insane. Yeah, that should give you a fairly good idea of the mixed capability of the camera. There's something else this camera does as well as taking not too bad vlogging video. It's also a 9.6 megapixel 1.8 lens stills camera, so I'm going to have a bit of a whack at that as well while I'm out and see what I can pull out of it. Right, so far this camera's kind of impressing me. I've been going around shooting in admittedly some pretty extreme situations with it, so like here where I'm shooting silhouetted with the sun and bright clouds behind me, and even in the little monitor here, which is not going to be great, it's just a little piece of plastic, I can still see some detail in my face, and it hasn't completely blacked out, and I can still see that the sky's blue and it's got clouds in it and they look relatively crisp. So all in all, I'm pretty happy with this thing. The auto exposure doesn't jump around too much. I mean, it definitely moves like it has now so that you can see me, but it doesn't jump and go from step to step to step like even the GoPros do that. But anyway, so I've stopped off at the Chinese takeaway. I've managed to pick up myself a bag of nice frozen pork buns. I'm going to take those home, steam a couple of them for lunch, and try and find a coffee somewhere, because I messed around too much on my way around to the coffee place and they were shut by the time I got there. Who closes at 3 PM with coffee? Honestly, it's only 3 PM. Now hopefully you've just seen my recent video on the GoPro 7. And one of the great things on that is the hyper smooth. Now I'm not expecting this to come up with anything like that, but I thought in interest of doing a fair side-by-side in comparison, that I should sort of take some more shots of this while I'm walking around. So here's a neat little montage of half-speed motion shots that I've taken with this. this is the last photo I just took with this camera, trying out this really braggy 60 type zoom, and I just want to show you how far away this image is. That's around about 250 meters. I'm just going to zoom back in on that again so you can see. Now I'm going to take this back, and admittedly I'm only looking at the little screen on the camera at the moment, which is not a great resolution in itself, but I gotta say, if that comes out clear, I'm going to be really impressed. Right, I was just walking along the path here, and this thing was sitting on the path next to me. It's just flying up into a tree. This is a native New Zealand wood pigeon called a kereru, and I'll put a link to some info about that down below. They seem to think they weigh about as much as a sparrow, but they're definitely a lot heavier than that. I think about 2.5, 3, 4 kilo each. They're a rare protected species, and despite being incredibly stupid, they're quite beautiful. And I thought, what better opportunity to test out the zoom and the Steadicam on this thing than to get right in close and have a good look at this little fella. Locally they're known as the B-52 of the avian world. I'm going to see if I can actually walk up a little closer to him. Oh yeah, just jumped up into a closer branch. Where are we? There we go. This is a not so native species. Hello? Rightio, that's my not so professional review of the CX-405. It's not the best camera in the world. It's not going to do absolutely everything, and I wouldn't go out and shoot a feature film with it. However, I will be keeping this one with me in my camera bag with everything else, because it does do a lot of things that the others won't do. It doesn't give me that fisheye look that the GoPro does. It doesn't shoot 4K, but it does do HD, and it does a pretty damn good job of it. I didn't need to color correct a lot of stuff, but it's got pretty good exposure control and everything, and it is a small but very functional XMAR sensor. Great thing about it is it's quick. I can just flip that around, push one button, and I'm recording my vlog. I can do that anywhere I am. The stabilization in it is pretty good. The image is pretty good. The sound is pretty good. The convenience is brilliant, and the price you can't really beat, really. Anyway, if you're looking for something, go grab one of these. If you want to try YouTube out, you're not putting a huge amount of money into it. It's only a third of the cost of a really good cell phone, to be honest. So there you go. I like it. See you later.